Okay, ni hao, bonjour to the online world. Today we are going to discuss about numbers. I'll just write it down for the chat purpose. Um, Discussion around numbers and why Tesla numbers are not applicable after 1st of April 2020. So that's the discussion right now. Okay, we take into consideration first day of April 2020 as the base. The new world order already has been established in multiple ways. And at the same point of time, the way the discussion has been ongoing, I mean, the Tesla numbers 3, 6, and 9 doesn't hold any value. If you see the calculation of just take embodiments and perhaps take 19 embodiments, we are going to take 19 embodiments. I need to report this in my upcoming paper also. Okay, so we take 19 embodiments, perhaps to see the orchestration in a manner whereby folks are able to appreciate the whole stuff. Um, it has to be 369. So Tesla numbers don't hold any value henceforth. Now, if this is backed by data fact, in terms of you need to see into the understanding of these numbers. Perhaps if I have to give um, the understanding of what the reality is all about, we have to look into the historical data set. And the most random and chaotic historical data set is playing with cards. Um, this particular is, I mean, people have made fortunes playing cards. Now, perhaps, um, although card playing is a game of luck, um, and let me tell you, luck comes to those who believe it, but to believe in luck, you have to work hard, you have to be klug, you have to be smart to even understand what is the importance of playing cards. Um, so perhaps what I want to focus here is we did loads of embodiments. We actually took 19 embodiments into picture in terms of the orchestration, and we make sure the number of actors is not in the multiple of three. So multiple of three means, in very simple words, three ones are three, three twos are six, three threes are nine, three fours are 12, and the number continues. What we are focusing is on the historical data set, and we go to the Roman culture, which is basically these numbers. X is basically the number 10. If this I take, this is supposed to be 11. Perhaps This is 20. This is 30. And to make things simple, even the dumbest of the dumb, in terms of whatever the word dumb is all about, so it's dumb. Dumb is equal to 5. The point here is people who understand mathematics in very simple words, um, generally you will see Homo sapiens sapiens have 10 fingers. You will see anomalies also where there's one extra finger, maybe there's extra toe finger and all that stuff. So that kind of anomaly is, I would say, it's visual, that is industrial design. However, there are a lot of anomalies in anyone and everyone. It is only when uh, something happens to that particular skeleton structure, that is the time one is able to understand the skeleton. So I'll talk about me as a subject here, where I'm a candidate in one of the embodiments. And in this particular embodiment, um, particularly if you see my nose, it's absolutely, I would rather say, technically, angularly, is it's it is, I would say, it's normal. It's there's nothing out of the box kind of a nose. But um, perhaps there was a time in my tenure, that is a past historical data set, where because of some environmental conditions, I was not able to breathe properly, and that breathing continued for the longest time, almost 2 years perhaps. And in that particular 2 years, I was coughing like anything. My nose was blocked and all that stuff. However, finally, the diagnosis was, um, I have a septum. Septum means the nose, the skeleton of this nose. Perhaps it has a indentation, orientation, because of which the air passage was not uh, okay. And that being said, the point of contention here is all these environmental factors have changed, and perhaps everything cannot be dynamic, it has to be personalized. So we have to take P as personalization. D can't be dynamic, and perhaps P can't be partnership. And L itself is number 6. So this particular embodiment, out of these 19 embodiments, this is the combination you need to take and prepare your scenarios the way you like, and look at for yourself how it works for you in terms of orchestrating the data set to solve the problem. This data set is only applicable to create white economy. And trust, in terms of trust, is equal to truth. We cannot play truth or dare. Not applicable. See, in the code of law, which is international in nature, perhaps there's something called as, cross examination. So I'll write about this. So in the cross examination, the candidate who has to answer the questions, given the fact, we have to embrace free will. So when we are embracing free will, we have to give the candidate the option not to answer the question. Because A good cross examiner would be able to examine in the best possible way and would be able to take out a data set of what truth is all about in terms of the exhibits which are furnished for that particular case. So perhaps the intention of this whole discussion today is that Tesla word, Tesla laws, Tesla numbers, Tesla equations, anything related to Tesla, because the mindset with which Tesla in his time had developed what he developed, of course, he's an innovator, inventor of his times. That time, the historical data set, in perhaps in that respect, was different. Today, in 2020, we are not in 2020, we are on the timeline of 2025. And given the fact the environmental data set has changed, I mean, uh, I happen to attend, which I generally don't do. I happen to attend one of the conferences whereby it was said when X number of millimeters or XYZ or whatever the number game is, um, when the rain is this much, we get X number or Y number of orders or A to Z number of orders. Um, Now, that doesn't mean that has anything to do with the trademark law. So, no trademark law is applicable when creating white digital economy. The only thing which is going to work is to increase the fee structure. Fee structure, when I talk about, is how much is the structure of the fees for one particular service, and that can be, the way I feel it. This is my particular inclination. The way I feel it is the hourly quote plus the incentives, which can be anything and everything, because every case is different, every person is different, every candidate is different, and every problem solving approach is going to be different. That being said, this is how it should be done. Number 12 and all these numbers, particularly when we are talking about dates, in terms of the calendar dates, all the dates from 1 to 31 has to be taken as zero. Dates 1 to 31 in any calendar year is equal to zero. That doesn't mean any nomenclature with the name of the humans, particularly the name RITA or REETA and the like. Because particularly the nomenclature of Homo sapiens sapiens RITA, which perhaps means zero. Um, I don't want to get into the historical data set of the name Rita, but this is one of the main data sets with which loads of protocols have been developed over the years, whether it is in any particular sector or whatever the thinking scale is. We are negating everything to zero because um, this new world order has to be done in a different manner altogether. When we talk about the cash component, when we are talking about perhaps the other components, and what is important here is to embrace the geographical indication. What is important is to appreciate the architectural framework. What is important is to appreciate the artisans. What is important is to save the art culture which is particular to a particular place in any part of this planet earth. Let's not even get to Mars and the other planets, because again, at the end of the day, it is nothing but the tagging part. So we should not be tagging something which has no value altogether. But what is important here is to be with the real data set and stop hallucinating, because loads of operators are trying to put the hallucinated data set and stating that, oh, do this, do that. Say, for example, I'll give you one example of a courier service in India right now. I won't name it, but the irony of the matter is they think they are very smart. And when you think you're smart, that is the time you're fooled. Not by your own architectural framework, but when people who understand the framework see the framework, they feel like, oh my gosh, what have they done? um, particularly these words like order, manifestation, manifestator, and everything, because internet was a medium to connect. Internet was not a medium to just come online and talk about anything and everything, which is making no sense. Like, if at somebody's place somebody is brushing a teeth, I think that is a habit. That habit is like everybody, I would like to believe that everybody is brushing their teeth and everything. But internet should not be the garbage ground for anything and everything. And we need to have the GDPR in place, because that is very important, what we are developing right now. And that being said, I can vouch for a few of the companies. I'd like to take the name of the companies. So when anything and everything was happening in the gold industry, particularly, this was very mismanaged industry. And Tata, in terms of one of the their sister concern, was around Tanishq. And I'm talking about the Tanishq when 14 carat, 18 carat was being sold off. And perhaps I was one of their few loyal customers. Today also I'm loyal to them in terms of when I have to purchase something. um, a part of which is circular economy, but a part of mismanaged. It's very mismanaged right now in terms of how the gold is being calculated, how it is being broken. And a lot has to be taught. So in totality, what is important right now here is human capacity building is very important. There has to be human capacity building, whether it's the medical sector. In medical sector also, there's different sector. We have the mbbs doctors, then we have the MDs and whatnot, all these fancy terminologies, then diploma, this, that. So that is medical. Then we have these dentists, then we have the physiotherapist. And a very big operation which has to stop right now in India is this counseling part. Because honestly speaking, all these counselors, they are the people, if you go to their data set, they have been the most traumatized individuals during their time for whatever reasons. So folks, if you feel at any given point of time that you need help with the adjustment of your framework of how you think, please go back to your own data set where you are journaling your stuff in any way whatsoever, and keep it to yourself. You just have to be with your own self and try and resolve it. And you need to find that framework of people, individuals, who are just listeners, without even thinking that you'll be that particular individual is being. Because when you are open to somebody, and you can pour yourself in terms of your discussions, that is what will um, get you out of the situation. So that's the best way forward. And please look into this data set and work around it, and accordingly do your cross examinations and find the truth, because that is the real blockchain is nothing to do with making people rich. And perhaps the cryptocurrency is just an iota of a use case study, nothing else. And another thing is, UPI again is zero. um, because then only we can get these data sets in a very clear fashion. Because nowhere, perhaps when we are dividing or trying to just allocate it into an Excel format, we are not able to do it. I mean, I've used all the paid tools, my own tools, uh, APIs, this, that, and everything. The only thing where I can understand is all these transactions. It's just a way to create a data set saying that, oh, India is so connected. Honestly speaking, right now, we as, or the whole, if I take the citizens of India as a clan, if I take India, let me write this data set. Okay, if we take India is equal to clan, we are not from the terms of the progress report. Progress report on the forefront is very good, but internally we are broken in terms of our own understanding of what we are doing to each other in terms of just um, pooling of resources. Because for the longest time I have been discussing about pooling the resources, which is not being done in the way it should be done. And because some stakeholders think they are more smarter than the others, then obviously if somebody is over smart, then the smart people, we are not going to talk about it. So this is the data set. Look into it, embrace it, and accordingly uh, prepare your data set. And yes, tomorrow is supposed to be Teachers Day. Oh my God. Um, Happy Teachers Day to the real teachers, because being a teacher takes a lot. And unfortunately, the data set of teachers in India, if you see their, uh, I mean, most of the folks who are teachers in whatever format, if you just look into the data set of their school time, college time, you will realize that they're not very happy doing what they are doing. They're just doing it for the sake of taking it as a profession. And that is where the word bully comes into picture, and B is equal to bully. Okay, thank you for watching out this video. Have a great day ahead.